Hi, my name is Jake,
I'm Curtis.
and we are here to talk about the first 3 episodes of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is the second MCU show that is on Disney+. First of all, I guess like for the first 3 episodes compared to WandaVision, like how does this for you?
Like the first 3 episodes of WandaVision or WandaVision as a whole?
Kind of just WandaVision as a whole compared to like your vibes off of this one. Like which one are you like more into, I guess?
I like them both pretty equally. This one's got more action, more banter than WandaVision did, which I like. I like all the banter that the MCU brought in the movies. So.
Right. I'm kind of like in the middle. Like I liked WandaVision because of the I guess the mystery of it and like not having any idea what to expect. But this one's like kind of typical superhero business, which is that's not even a negative thing. Obviously, like that's what I'm here for. But yeah, it's just like, you know, it's kind of the same old. So it's like it kind of feels like, you know, things I've felt before. Like I felt like this show, the thing to compare it to the most would be like Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
It's like it got the same vibe as that.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like realistic and like kind of like a little grittier. Like it kind of gives me the same vibes as like that show.
Yeah, I like that a lot about it.
The first scene is Falcon doing his thing.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. You could tell they put a lot of money into this show.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah, that's why
the first scene.
This show is just kind of like The Mandalorian and WandaVision, in as much as like I'm still so impressed that these are TV shows. Like they look like movies.
Yeah.
That's crazy that like this month, like that, you know, TV shows got to the point where they look just like movies. You know, it's like unbelievable because it's like, you know, you watch like a lot of the CW superhero shows or something, and they're definitely not the same quality as like, you know, a DC movie. Yeah. You know, as far as like the effects and things of that nature. But like these, I mean, you know, like this, like that Falcon, that first action scene with the Falcon. I mean, that looked like it could have been out of one of the Avengers movies. It's like it's unreal.
That's one of the things I like about it. You feel like you're watching a movie and not just some crappy TV show.
And that was cool because that was kind of the first scene that we've had where like a Falcon where like he felt like his own superhero. Like he didn't feel like a sidekick. You know what I mean? Which like that's gonna be. I feel like we're gonna get a lot of that from a lot of people.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. The next scene is where basically Falcon is giving up the shield. He's gonna have it put in a museum, Captain America's shield, which at the end of Endgame, Steve Rogers gave Sam Wilson the shield and told him he was the next Captain America pretty much. And I thought that the show was gonna be about him wanting to be a Captain America, but the country and the government like having other plans.
Yeah.
But that's not really what it is, because like Falcon, like, you know, it seems like he would have been able to be Captain America if he wanted to be. Like, it didn't seem like anybody was going to stop him.
I don't know. Like, as much as I enjoyed the first scene with him fighting and everything, like, he almost got beat by a bunch of French dudes in wing suits. Like, how is he supposed to be Captain America if he could barely beat those guys?
I just didn't think that he was going to not want to be Captain America. You know? Like, I thought that, like, he was going to want to be, and there was going to be other things. But, like, it seems like he's just, like, obviously, like, that's a very intimidating thing to have to do, you know?
Yeah.
Like a torch you're going to have to carry like after like Steve Rogers. You know? Like that's a very like big shoes to fill.
Yeah, I mean even at the end of Endgame, like what does Captain America say to him? Feels like it belongs to somebody else.
Yeah, yeah.
So
and then like this show is like, you know, I mean a lot of it is just other characters pretty much telling Sam that he's messed up by not being Captain America. You know, like Rhodey, who James Brode, War Machine, he shows up, which makes me super happy because like I love that character. He's my favorite as far as like the sidekicks go.
Yeah, he kind of grew on me throughout the movies.
Dude, I love him. And, like, especially like, you know, all the like little funny moments he had like in game.
Yeah,
and I love that guy. So I love like seeing him and Falcon there. Like no Iron Man. No Steve Rogers, like it was just the side characters who are like not the side characters anymore.
Yeah, they're
like these
starting to come into their own.
Yeah, like he is, you know. I mean, War Machine is our Iron Man right now, kind of. You know, like he's like. He really is. I mean, he's the guy in the suit now. Yeah. And then of course, you know, Falcon being kind of the new Captain America, whether he is or not. You know, like whether he is officially or not, he is. You know. So it's crazy seeing these like side characters who are no longer the side characters. Like they are the characters. It's like there's no Iron Man and Captain America anymore. And like I like seeing that though. Like, I like seeing these characters like kind of come into their own.
Yeah.
Like Bucky, for example. This is the first time we've really seen much of of Bucky kind of like being his own person.
Yeah.
You know, like we saw a little bit of his personality and stuff like in the first Captain America movie, but like after that, you know, it's all kind of like every scene he's in, he's like tortured and he's like having issues, and like we haven't seen much of him just hanging out. Like in this show, we get to see him go on a date.
Yeah,
like,
I like that. It was cool to see him be humanized instead of just being a killing machine.
Yeah, it's weird because like in the movies, like I liked him for like the part that he played, you know. But like I didn't really care that much. Like now, I actually like him as a character. Like I want to see more of him, like doing his thing. Like before, it was like I didn't like him as much as a character as I liked his relationship with Steve, I guess. Like what he meant to Steve, I guess, in the story. And of course, you know, he's awesome with the, you know, as far as like, you know, just the action goes. But now it's like kind of seeing him as his own person. Like I really like him.
Yeah.
And
I like seeing him go to the therapist. And by the way, the actress who was the therapist done a fantastic job. In my opinion, I thought
all the therapists, like, or all the therapy that he's going through, he's doing what Wanda should have done, and he's going to therapy. Bucky's going to therapy to deal with, you know, the last 90 years that he's murdered innocent people and things of that nature. And you can tell that he's like, you know, going through a lot of problems in the show. But he, like I said, he did what Wanda should have done, which is went to therapy instead of, you know, slave the whole town.
At least he's trying.
Yeah, he's definitely trying. And they also kind of confirmed that all of the Avengers have been pardoned for, you know, the things that happened in Civil War.
Yeah.
'Cause, you know, we leave Civil War before like all the crazy events of Infinity War and Endgame. And a lot of these superheroes were wanted, you know, they had warrants out for their arrest for not obeying the
Sokovia
Accords. Yeah. So, but now, you know, they're all pardoned, like they've saved the world. They've brought a crazy amount of people back to life. So it's like they're very, obviously like that's deserving. And I saw that coming, but you know, it was nice to see that, you know, they're finally free to do their own thing. Another thing with the therapy session is, Bucky had a flip phone. Like they go through his phone, like they're saying, you know, his therapist would look through his phone and like said that he, you know, barely talked to anybody, like he's been ignoring Sam and all these different things. Like, but it's crazy he just had a flip phone. And that just, I don't know, that really made me laugh. But it's weird because like I think with Bucky, you know, with Steve, like he was pretty much asleep for 70 years and then he woke back up.
Yeah.
But you know, Bucky's been around, so even though he was mind controlled, he remembers everything.
Yeah.
So he's seen all of this stuff like evolve, you know, technology and all that. So I found it, I don't know, I kind of found it kind of weird he had a flip phone, but like, I feel like that's a Steve Rogers thing more than a Bucky, because Bucky at least saw it. Like, obviously he wasn't in control of what he did, but he saw like, you know, the world change. So you think he would be a little bit more adjusted to it.
Yeah. I didn't really think about it that way. Even he does say he's what 106.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
And then there's the big scene that everybody was talking about online, which was the bank scene where Sam and his sister are trying to get a loan to keep their family business going, and they end up getting rejected. And there's a couple of reasons. First of all, you know, Falcon was snapped away for 5 years, so he has no income for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And then before that, it's kind of like up in the air how things were handled when he was an Avenger, as far as like him getting paid and whatnot. And like a lot of people were upset that like apparently like he claims that like he didn't really give details, but like pretty much like, you know, Tony Stark did not pay them to be an Avenger, and like people are upset about that. But like technically Tony Stark doesn't owe anybody anything. Like he is not their employees, you know, like they're not Tony Stark's employees.
Yeah, and he didn't start the Avengers. You know, that was Nick Fury and Shield.
Yeah,
they should have been taken care of.
Yeah,
all that stuff, but
he didn't start the Avengers, and he also wasn't the leader of the Avengers. You know, just like in Age of Ultron, he says I pay for everything, but he's the leader.
Yeah.
Talking about Captain America, and like it was definitely obvious that like Tony Stark paid for all of their gear and everything. It was also clear that like he paid for the Avengers compound. You know, in Civil War, you saw that they all had their own rooms. They all lived in this big facility, which means like, you know, essentially they were all living rent bill free. They had no bills, and like so I think it's kind of, you know, I think that's like an issue that people like that wasn't really an issue that people turned into an issue. He kind of like blew over like that time of we don't know any details about how they did things, but like it definitely didn't seem like they had a problem. So like everything was working out, you know, and
I like the fact that they did bring it up in this show and kind of touched on it, because I mean I never really thought about it until.
Well, I mean with me it's like most of the characters have their own like jobs outside of that. You know, like
when they're not saving the world, everybody has something to do.
Like I don't know what Steve Rogers did after.
Or if he just collected back pay for the 70 years from
maybe
the military.
I don't, like obviously he worked for SHIELD until SHIELD collapsed.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know what he did after that. But then like all these characters, like I mean, Rhodey is he's paid. He's like in the military. Like all these characters like do their own thing. Like Clint and Natasha, they both worked
for SHIELD.
Yeah, they worked for SHIELD, which is a government agency. Like they all have their own jobs and like their own ways of making money. So like I don't think that I don't know. I think that people were really upset about something that like was kind of stupid to be upset about. But especially like they kind of glanced over it. But I think it's crazy because like Falcon did not get the loan that he was like trying to get, which is like unbelievable. Like this world like is so. It's like that's realistic too though.
Yeah.
Like you could save the world and people are still like. It's hard to get,
anything.
Yeah, it's hard to get, climb up the chain in this world sometimes. Like even when you're an Avenger, which is ridiculous. But
the very end of episode 1 is when they introduce the new Captain America, which is what's his name, John Walker, I think, right?
I don't know.
Pretty sure it is John Walker.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. I kind of blacked out when I saw that. Yeah, that's like the cliffhanger at the end of the episode is that Falcon gave up the shield and it was supposed to go in a museum, but they have decided that they're going to the government has decided they're going to have their own Captain America, and it's not Falcon, it's not who Steve Rogers picked, it's another guy, and he's in the episode for like 2 seconds. Like he just comes out in his Captain America uniform and winks at the camera and like 2 seconds, and like he was the most unlikable person on that planet, like on the planet in those 2 seconds. Like he had the most punchable face in that helmet. Like I was just like, no. And then like Falcon, watches it on TV and is like,
he's so mad.
Yeah, he's upset. He knows that he messed up. But it's like, I don't know. It's unbelievable that he trusted government after everything that happened in Civil War.
Yeah.
The fact that you thought that like they were gonna listen to you guys at all. Listen to the wishes of Steve Rogers. It's unreal. But yeah, so that's the end of the episode. Is that we have a new Captain America, and it's not Falcon, and it's not Bucky, it's some other douche. So.
I would rather it be Bucky, to be honest with you.
Not me. I don't think I think he's just done too much bad. Like whether it's his fault or not, I think that he's just done way too much like bad, too many bad things to like hold, the Captain America mantle after someone is like pure and perfect as Steve Rogers.
My thing about it is like at least Bucky still has like the super strength, and he's got the vibranium arm.
Oh yeah.
And stuff, and he's not indestructible, but he's really tough to bring down.
Oh yeah, no.
Take Falcon's wings away from him, and he's just a dude.
Yeah. That's why my fiance and I were talking about it. It's like right now, if you put Falcon there's a couple times in these 3 episodes that Falcon looks a little like nervous about how much control Bucky has.
Yeah.
Because he's had all these he's had his mind control for 90 years, and he obviously we saw in Civil War that he can still be triggered into that Winter Soldier mode. And there's a couple times that Falcon asked me, he's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's because as of right now, if Bucky went back in his Winter Soldier mode, he would destroy Falcon.
Oh yeah.
Even with the wings, I don't think that Falcon could take Bucky whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So I think that that's like I don't know. Yeah, so I understand it in that perspective, but I think Falcon's about to get an upgrade. And oh yeah, and that kind of leads us into the second episode. The episode kind of starts with first of all, Bucky confronts Sam, and he's like, "Look, this guy is not what Steve wanted. Yeah. Steve wanted you as Captain. He chose you as Captain America." And
I thought the episode started with him talking about the new Captain America.
I just really like the scene that stood out to me. It's like earlier in the episode. I don't know if it's the exact first scene, but yeah, it's one of the earlier in the episode. It's Bucky confronts Sam, and it's like, hey, this is not what Steve wanted. Like you're messing up, which is kind of what Rhodey said. Rhodey said it a little bit more subtly. He was kind of hinting at it a little bit. But Bucky was not nice about it at all. He was like, look, you're effing up.
I like the banter between them two. It makes up for Cap and Tony not being around.
Yeah. They the way that Bucky and Sam talk to each other in the show and their relationship, is no different than what it was in Civil War. They do not get along whatsoever. Like they don't get along at all. And it's awesome because it's like every second is hilarious.
Well, so, I think Sam was trying because in the first episode when the therapist talks about when he goes through his phone, it was like he'd been ignoring the
Sam's definitely like
Sam's trying, but Buck's just not giving in.
No, and I think and it makes sense. You know,
yeah.
I mean, he's had a like an unbelievable for us life. You know, I mean that's 90 years. That's like a whole lifespan that he spent like under the control of people making him do horrible things that are like not things that he would want him to do. So so that's I understand, but at the same time it's like it is really funny their relationship, like them trying to work together. My favorite part of this episode was their conversation about the big three.
Wizards, aliens, and
androids. Yeah, Sam is going after these guys. This group that's called the Flag Smashers.
Yeah.
They are a group that basically think that the world was better post Thanos snap, like when half the people were gone. That they think that the world was better like that, so they're kind of just causing chaos now that things are back to normal. And Falcon is gonna investigate these guys, and he thinks that they are part of the big three. And Bucky's like, "What are the big three?" And Sam's like, "The big three." He's like, "Every time we fight anybody, it's always aliens, androids, or wizards." And it's kind of funny because first of all, it's like kind of true, and then second of all, it's like their whole conversation about that they bring
Doctor Strange. He's a sorcerer.
Yeah. Apparently, a sorcerer is just a wizard without a hat. So there's they were really funny and they brought up Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Bucky brings up Lord of the Rings, and Sam's like, "How do you know about that?" And he's like, "I read the book in the 30s." So he's like, so that was really funny. I was like, because at first I kind of felt that too. I was like, I guess he's been watching. I guess he's been watching. Yeah, Lord of the Rings. I was like, yeah, those are books from forever ago. So I asked he would have known about that. Another thing in this episode is this is kind of first of all this is the first episode where Falcon and the Winter Soldier actually interact. In the first episode, they weren't in a scene together at all.
No, not at all.
So in this episode, they are they spend most of the episode together, and the new Captain America also gets brought into the mix a little bit.
Yeah.
And that
shows him fighting for the first time, and he kind of gets his butt whooped, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know. This guy, I just don't like him at all.
They're trying to make him likable. You can tell at the beginning of the episode when they're in the stadium and talking about him and stuff like that. But
yeah, it seems like okay, here's the thing. He doesn't seem like a terrible guy, but he also doesn't seem like I saw a comment on Facebook where somebody was like, he was the type of guy that Tommy Lee Jones in the first Captain America movie would have picked to get the super soldier serum.
Yeah.
Which is and he's not a bad guy, but he's not Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers is another level. We saw that guy lift Thor's hammer. He's clearly on another level. This guy's just I don't know. He's just too much for me. And I think that he's gonna end up. I can't really tell what they're gonna do with him. I can't tell if he's gonna become more likable. We're gonna relate to him a little bit, or I don't know if he's gonna be a bigger douche.
He's gonna be a bigger douche.
That's what I think too. I feel like the more we see him so much, I was just I don't know, Steve Rogers wouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
I don't know, Steve would have done that. That's what I felt every time he's in the scene, I was like, yeah, he wouldn't be saying that. He wouldn't do that. So, and that's something that I'm going to compare everybody to, but to Steve. Yeah. But at least Falcon, it seems like he's I don't know. I think Falcon's a little bit more Steve-like than this guy.
Oh yeah, way more.
So I'm hoping I'm ready for Falcon to do his thing. But another thing is the kid called Falcon Black Falcon, and that made me laugh so hard. He's like, "Why are you calling me Black Falcon?" He's like, "Is it because I'm black and I'm Falcon?" And the kid's like, "Yeah."
So what does that make you, black kids?
Yeah. That interaction was so funny. I don't know. Sam Wilson, he really cracks me up. That guy,
Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, I would watch that guy in anything. That guy's
I don't know. See, I'm kind of mixed on it because when at the end of Endgame when he gives him the shield, I was like, there's no way that Anthony Mackie, which I like Anthony Mackie, he's a good actor, but I don't think he has the charisma like Chris Evans does to carry that franchise.
See, but the thing is I think that I think it's reasonable to feel that way, but I think that if I've learned anything from recently is all these side characters that because really I didn't see Vision and Wanda pulling off what they pulled off, honestly. But now I'm just like I would watch them like 4 more seasons of that show, and then like same thing with this. Is like what I was talking about at the beginning with Rhodey and Sam.
Yeah.
These are side characters, but like I don't know. When I watched that scene, I was like, this feels like this could be something that like brings us through like the next 10 years. Like they seem like they could be like the big characters. Like
they're working on it. Like I said, they're coming into their own now.
Or like when we were talking about Sebastian Stan. Like and Bucky. Yeah. Like this is like the first time I've really felt like Bucky's personality that much.
Yeah.
So I think it's I think that they're definitely coming into their own now. Speaking of Sebastian Stan, this is the first time that I've really thought about it, but I really want him to be Luke Skywalker. Because they bring up like how they're constantly bringing up about like him playing Luke Skywalker.
Are they really?
Yeah, because he looks like like Mark Hamill, like Mark Hamill, and like there's like petitions online for that to happen and everything. And after watching the show, I'm just like, yeah, he could definitely be Luke Skywalker. I saw the other day where he said he would only do it if like Mark Hamill personally called him and said that it was cool if he was Luke Skywalker.
I mean, I'd be okay with it now.
I would love it. I would love it. I'm hoping that happens because like I don't think that they would CGI Mark Hamill for a full show, and I don't think that we'd want that necessarily. Like I liked it for that scene that was amazing in The Mandalorian, but I don't know about a whole show. I think that maybe moving on to new actors would be great.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue One they did. What was the guy's name? Parkin.
Yeah,
and like it was okay for that one
it's just
movie,
like,
but
it's just like that's for like smaller things, like a character that's in the movie the entire time. At least these are characters that were like had small doses, but I don't know. Watching this show has got me excited for a possible Luke Skywalker coming up.
Okay, I'll be okay with it now.
But and then the last the last big thing about this episode is we find out that there was a second super soldier in America, and we find out that first of all, we find out that this guy he's an older black man who his name's Isaiah.
Yeah.
And we find out that pretty much he did not have the same life that Steve Rogers had. Basically, he was turned into a super soldier. We know that at some point he faced Bucky and won. Yeah, at one point him and Bucky fought one another and he beat Bucky, which shows, how tough this guy really is. And then outside of that, like pretty much he spent like 30 years of his life in prison and pretty much was like used for tests and like they took his blood, I guess trying to like duplicate the serum and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that guy did not have the same like life and like is not admired in the same way that Steve Rogers is. He kind of got the crappy deal.
But he couldn't have had the same serum though, because like Bucky's got the serum, but he's not aged.
Right.
That guy's old now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what Bucky's deal is. Like, I don't know how what he is. Because like obviously like Steve Rogers like aged normally once he was unfrozen.
Yeah.
And obviously like this guy seems to have aged like as well. Obviously, like I think that he was probably like in better shape than what he would be if he didn't have it at that age,
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know the deal, but I know that it's like clearly like this guy is another super soldier. So, but we get.
It'd be kind of cool like to see him like come in and whoop somebody.
Yeah,
I don't think a small scene. That'd be pretty cool.
I don't think it's impossible. I mean, who knows? Because like we find out like pretty much like the super soldier situation is like a big thing in the show. We find out. That there are others out there, not just Steve Rogers and Bucky and Isaiah. There's other ones too.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads us into episode 3. With episode 3, I guess the end of episode 2, we get Zemo back from Civil War. He was the bad guy in Civil War who kind of like really, was the catalyst for the Avengers fighting one another. Who I loved in that movie. I thought he was a great villain because like I thought it was impressive because he was the first villain that couldn't physically do anything to the Avengers. Like Thanos and like Loki, like they could all like physically like combat these Avengers, and like he couldn't. That's
what I didn't like about him.
I loved it.
He was just kind of meh.
I loved it because he tore him apart like just with his mind. Like like he didn't throw a punch, and like he still really did more than most. Like I mean, his plan worked out better than Loki's plan in the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he ripped the Avengers apart. And that was definitely something that, like, I don't know, I was impressed by. But he's back, and they end up getting him out of prison because obviously he's in prison probably for life for like all the crazy things that he did, and they get him out, and that prison break scene was the most chaotic prison break. It was like, it definitely worked out, but it was, oh my god, it was like the most, like, I don't know. It was just like insane the whole time.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, it was fun. It was fun to watch, especially when like you kind of Bucky and Sam were talking about it like a hypothetical, like what if we do this?
Yeah.
But you find out Bucky's already done this. He's already gotten him out. We also get his comic accurate look in the show. He's got the purple mask and everything. Yeah, which is like, he didn't have a mask or anything in Civil War. He was just a guy. But this show, yeah, he's definitely got his super villain persona going on now.
He turns into a better villain in the show than what he was in the movie, in my opinion. But.
And so, there's more conflict with the Flag Smashers who think that things are better when half the world was gone. And one thing I like a lot about, and I've thought about this, so far we've seen Far From Home, Spider-Man Far From Home, WandaVision, and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. These are the three, the content we have so far that is post everyone coming back.
Yeah.
And I thought about it a lot, and like, I think that having these TV shows is the best way to go forward. Like, before half the people were snapped away, like, that was just our world.
Yeah.
Like, outside of like the superheroes existing, like, everything was just like the world that we have now.
Yeah.
But when half the people were like snapped away and out of existence and then come back, like, that's a world that like really we can't relate to at all. That's like something we've never dealt with. And I think that, so that's definitely like a new world and like new things to like explore. And I think about it in like Far From Home, really, like, there was only, with the movie, the short runtime, like, there's only so much that you can really tap into that.
Yeah.
Like, you see that, like, like some of the people that weren't snapped away that were like, 5 years younger than Peter and his friends are now in their grade. So there's things like that, but it's like not the same way. Like, this show on WandaVision really showed like how that affected everyone. And like, cause that affects every single thing, like the way the world works, like the way your life is. Cause there's like every single person on the planet would have known somebody that snapped away.
Yeah.
Your kids or like your parents or like your friends. And like, it's kind of cool seeing that situation. Like, I don't know, like with the episodes, like, in that longer time that we get to spend in this world, like, you get to see more of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty cool.
I kind of feel bad for the Flag Smashers, honestly. Like, they talk about it like everything was fine until everybody come back, and then like everybody got displaced and stuff, and now they're being put in these camps and they're not getting the supplies and stuff like that. I understand why they're doing it, but they're going about it the wrong way.
Yeah, definitely. But we talked about that kind of in WandaVision. We were talking about like how, like, in this whole this fictional world, and like, in this movie series, like, obviously, like, Iron Man's the hero, everybody gets brought back, and even though they're showing like little difficulties, like, overall, it still seems like a positive thing.
Yeah.
But like, we're talking about, like, realistically, that would have been a nightmare for everybody. It's like, even like in the bank scene on the previous episode, they were like, yeah, that's how things used to work, but now that everybody's been brought back, like, everything's different. Like, the whole world has to operate differently.
Oh yeah.
And
like, could you imagine coming back, like, owning your home and then being blipped out, and then coming back like somebody's in your home, or your home has like been destroyed or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's like people. Yeah, that's something that stresses me out.
You have no way of doing anything.
Yeah, that's yeah, I mean, some people, like, obviously, like, maybe their life was like unchanged, but like some people's lives were like completely different. Like, who knows, like, like, you could, like, your whole life could be different or like permanently ruined after like coming back. Another thing that like this really got me in the feels. So do you remember in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Steve had a notebook where he would write down things that people talked to him about that he wanted to look into.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the list. Do you remember anything that was on his list?
No.
Well, there's I remember this because like I paused it like when I first bought the DVD on his list.
Yeah.
You remember some of the stuff that was on the list?
Something about it was listen to Marvin Gaye or
Marvin Gaye was like the thing that he wrote down, that like the thing that Falcon suggested. Yeah, but he had a bunch of stuff written on there.
Yeah.
Like, he had different like historical events that he wanted to look into, movies, bands. One band that he had on there that he like wrote down to look into was Nirvana.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then this is my favorite part. He had Star Wars written down, and it had been marked out. So Steve Rogers has seen Star Wars.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that made me happy. I was like, oh, that's so nice. But we found out in this that Bucky is using the same notebook to write down things, little things. You know, he's using Steve's notebook, which is like, I don't know, that got me like a little bit in the heart because like, I don't know, like we saw that where like, you know, Steve was like dealing with like being, you know, in this new world that he didn't really know and being alone.
Yeah.
And like, then him and Bucky had each other for a little while, and like I'm sure that made things feel better. But like, you know, now he's like, now it's Bucky being alone. You know, now he doesn't have Steve Rogers at all. And I don't know, but it was nice having that little notebook. So I was like, oh man, that made me happy. And then another character comes back from the past, from Civil War outside of Zemo, which is Sharon Carter.
Yeah.
Which is she like, oh man, I feel bad for her.
Yeah.
Like, so we, you know, like I said in the previous episode, we find out that the Avengers were pardoned and like all of their, you know, issues with their legal troubles with the governments of the world was kind of dropped after, you know, they saved the world and brought everybody back. But so I guess it really shows that some of the smaller characters did not get that same,
treatment.
Yeah, the same treatment because Sharon is still wanted. You know, she's still a fugitive from, you know, the United States of America. She's been living in another country. She's been, you know, still kind of on the run. And I was like, God, that sucks. Like, everybody else is like free to do their thing, and like she's still, you know, her life's still ruined. She's talking about how she hasn't seen her family in years, and I don't know where she's at. And I'm like, man, that's a bummer. I think that, you know, things will work out with her at the end. Like her and Falcon made a deal. You know, if she would help him, then he would make sure that she got pardoned and like he would take care of her. Because, you know, obviously like they pardoned Bucky, who's like, you know, definitely done the worst out of all of them. So like she could definitely get pardoned, but like it just, I don't know, that was a crappy deal. There's a lot of things like that, and then the loan situation. There's a lot of things where I'm just like, it's very realistic to how like crappy the world is sometimes, but like it also bums me out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm here to have a good time, and this is making me feel bad.
I like the look of the city.
Yeah.
To me, it was kind of like Blade Runner-esque.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool.
Yeah. And then there's a scene in the bar where.
Oh yeah, there's a scene where there was Zemo and Falcon is Sam is disguised as someone else. You know, he's like playing someone else, and
Smiling Tiger.
Yeah, he's playing this guy that apparently drinks this really gross like drink at the bar. It's like, it looks like a shot of like alcohol, and then I don't know what he takes that, but he like kills the bartender kills the snake and pulls something out of the snake. Did you know what that was?
I don't know what it was.
I don't know, something from inside the snake, and puts it in the drink and gives it to Sam to drink. And like he had to do it because apparently that was that character's favorite drink, so he couldn't like, you know, not drink it, but like it was so you could tell he was like trying not to throw up and like break their break their disguise. But like, oh man, it was hard to watch. And he like the way he stops and like the little noise, like the little grunt he makes, oh, it was hilarious. It was like that was my favorite part of all 3 episodes, because I was like, I rewound it like 10 times. I was like, this is hilarious. Going back to Sharon, she was like real not as likable as what she used to be.
No.
She was like negative and like kind of like shitty, but like at the same time, it's like it's also understandable. Like like we just talked about how terrible things were. So, you know, so her not being the most positive person and like being like, you know, is
And how long has she been on the run? Because this happened. Well before the blip.
Yeah, which was Civil War was 2 years before Infinity War.
Yeah.
And then if she wasn't snapped away, that's 7 years. Like not pretty much like having this life where she can't be around anybody she cares about. She's having to like run, you know, be running from the law. So, like, you know, like I said, she was negative and definitely not likable, but it's also completely understandable.
Yeah.
You know, and like I think that like I'm hoping things will work out for her.
They'll have to. They're not gonna bring her back and then not.
Yeah, I agree. And then we find out that there are quite a few super soldiers running around.
Yeah.
There's flag smashers. There's a lot of them that are super soldiers.
Yeah.
So we get to deal with that. I'm wondering, like, you know, how they're going to deal with all these guys. Like, that's the reason that Zemo kind of falls into it, is because Zemo's pretty much helping them figure out like where this is all coming from. Because obviously, like, Zemo does not like superpower people at all, which is why like Civil War happened. And it's kind of crazy because it's like he's working now with these Avengers that he can't stand. But it's kind of like, you know, I guess he doesn't like them. He also like he probably hates the all these new super soldiers more. You know, there's more of those super soldiers than what they are of these two guys, and you know, so I guess it's like, you know, when you have a similar enemy, you can be partners for a short time, and that's so it's kind of like they're a little like they're not dynamic. But yeah, so there's a lot of super soldiers out there, and that makes me wonder, like, I don't know, because you know, obviously like these two guys can't face all these super soldiers, but I'm wondering if like, you know, any other characters are gonna like come into play. That would be nice.
You've already seen Rhodey.
Yeah, which I mean, he might be back around. You know, he said he would be in touch, and I think that it would be nice. Like I said, how much I liked Rhodey. He was my favorite like side character and like sidekick. So I think that, you know, it would be nice to have him come back around. Especially, I mean, they have a lot of super soldiers that they're going to have to deal with now. Yeah. So they're going to have to, you know, get a little bit of backup. But with all these super soldiers being around, that brings me to my theories. Now that, you know, it's possible for there to be more super soldiers, like, you know, originally the scientist that created Steve Rogers immediately was killed, and then, you know, so that was it there. But now that, like, you know, it's possible to make all these super soldiers, I think that Sam is going to get this super soldier power.
Yeah, the scientist that remakes it gets killed in this one too. So now there's
that seems to be just the thing. You make this, and then you make the super soldier serum, and then you're immediately murdered. But yeah, I do think it's possible that, you know, he's gonna get the superpowers, because like you see in the trailer, he's throwing that shield around like Steve Rogers did, and that's definitely not, you know, something that a normal person can do. So I think that he's going to get superpowers, and he's going to get upgraded to where he's more on the level of Captain America. Because I like Falcon a lot, but he's not Captain America. So like he's not got the same, you know, type of powers. And
do you think the guy that is Captain America right now either has some sort of version of the serum?
I think so. I think so, just for the way that, you know, he was throwing that shield around a little bit too, and it seems like he's got something, you know. So it's hard to tell, and I don't think that they would pick him to be Captain America just because, you know, he would have to definitely have something that would like make him be the person that they chose to be Captain America. Yeah. And then the ending is a little bit of a cliffhanger. Someone from Wakanda shows up. Ayo shows up. She was like kind of like the second in command in Wakanda, and she is there. Well, what do you think that she is there for?
She's there for Zemo.
Yeah, it's crazy because, like, you know, they've broken Zemo out, which is like, obviously, like, they don't like Zemo either, but it's kind of like, you know, they're fighting the worst evil right now, and Zemo is like a means to an end there. Yeah. But Zemo in Civil War killed Wakanda's king. Yeah. You know, and now that he's like free, you know, she's not gonna be cool with that. There's a lot of people not gonna be cool with that. I mean, really, Falcon and Sam and Bucky are not cool with him being out. You know, they're just like, they feel like it's necessary. So now she's here. I don't know how that's gonna go. Like, she's gonna be after Zemo. So like, I feel like it's like getting real messy, real fast, like for these characters. And I really dig what's happening.
Do you think they pretty much killed him by breaking him out of prison? Like, unintentionally killed him?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's really hard to tell. It kind of seems, I don't know. It seems like things are not like, I don't know. It seems like things are really falling apart for like all these characters. Like the whole situation is like getting a little messy, which I enjoy. It's like definitely like rising the tension. But I guess like overall, how did you feel about the first 3 episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I enjoyed it. You know, I like the big action scenes. You can tell they've put a lot of money into it, like I said earlier, and I enjoyed the banter, the style, and you know, all the small talk, even though they're not fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I liked it. Like I said, I like the tone of the show. It reminds me a lot of Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and it was pretty great. It was like there was some pretty brutal moments in this show too. It's like when Bucky threw the pipe through the guy's shoulder. That was bloody. It was rough, man. That looked like it hurt. I was like, oh man, that's. Because, you know, that's not even sharp. It was just like, you know, a flat pipe that went straight through that guy's shoulder. I was like, that does not feel comfortable. Like, that does not look comfortable at all. I really enjoyed the show. The only thing that I really think that could have been better is, like, you know, we don't like the new Captain America. I think they probably could have cast Jeff Goldblum as the new Captain America. I think that everybody would have been happy about that. I think that would have been, I think that's what America wants, honestly. That's what I want. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, it was fun. I'm like excited to see where this goes. I think there's 6 episodes to this show. From what I've read.
Oh, I have no idea.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see as far as like the official count goes, and we will be back for, you know, another video at least. and talk about the next 3 episodes, and I guess we'll see where it goes from there. So if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe to our channel, and let me know in the comment section how you feel about this show and how it compares to WandaVision. So until next time.